Alright guys, we have less than 1 day until YMAX announces distributions for YMAX, YMAG and Ulti. And so about a week ago I made an estimate video as far as how much they will pay. However, as I said back then in that video, because more people buy into these funds, the estimate will change down because it's getting diluted. But that's only like a 1 month thing, because then we'll have more stocks to work with. Anyway, let's jump right into the estimate. So here is my spreadsheet and all the dividends that we have collected. So this is YMAX or YMAX, all the dividends we have collected. And this right here, fund shares, this was the number of shares outstanding for YMAX fund on the day that all these single stock ETFs announced their dividends. So basically that was the last day to own all of these 20 stocks right here to collect the dividend for July, and therefore YMAX would collect the dividends based on this number of shares. Okay, however, now that more people buy into the fund and they didn't announce their distribution yet, there is the fixed amount of dividend for a variable amount of shares outstanding. Okay, so the fund will collect $9,751,000 and some change, and this was the number of shares that we base this estimate on. But right now the number of outstanding shares has gone up by about 10% and is sitting at 14.25 million, and so that has decreased our payout amount. Okay, so right now the maximum we can get with this number of outstanding shares, now keep in mind, because the announcement for YMAX is tomorrow, this number can still change, and I would say it would probably change to about just under 15 million outstanding shares. So because people would still be buying in today, because the share price is not really increasing that much. So right now it's sitting at $20.19 right here, and it basically closed at that amount on Friday. So people want to collect the dividend, so they're buying in. I would say that by the end of today or by tomorrow morning, we should have around 15 million shares. So the maximum we can collect is 68.43 cents per share, and I think with 5% discount is how many shares will probably be added. My estimate is sitting around 63.5 cents. Now, if you compare that to June and May, this is June, this is not July. Let's change that real quick. So if we collect that to June and May payments, that's significantly less. That's 10 cents less, or about 13-14%. So that's a big difference, and they will want to keep this number as high as possible. However, all these single stock funds, single stock ETFs, they didn't have a very good month, so the amount of money they collected wasn't that great, and they just cannot keep the 73 cents payout. So my guess is just about 63-64 cents. That's how much they will pay. Now, I think that 10% dilution in a week preceding the dividend announcement is not that bad, because last month in June we have added, between my estimate and the actual payout announcement, we have added 27% of outstanding shares. So far we've added only 10%, and maybe like up to 15% by tomorrow. And so that's not that bad of a dilution, because I think the fund is maturing and there's a lot of people already bought into it. However, I think it will still grow overnight and until tomorrow. And then basically by the evening tomorrow, that's how many people already bought in, and that will be the final number. I'm not going to make another video. I'm predicting it's going to be around 64 cents. They want to keep up the yield, but there's not much you can do because you have limited amount of money that you have collected. Now again, let's take a look at June. We have collected 8,222,223,000. So it's a little less, but we had like a lot fewer shares. Right now we're sitting at 14 million, so we had 5 million, more than 50%. It went up by more than 50% since June announcement in less than a month. So yeah, while the money collected went up only by 1 million, so that's just about 10%, and therefore there's not much they can do. This number has to go down, so probably 63-64 cents. I think that's what they will pay. Again, they want to keep the yield as high as possible. Maybe they'll pay 65. There is not much room to move here. You got to earn money to be able to pay it, and they have earned so far 68.43 cents per share, and that's based on this number. And yeah, nothing we can do. Okay, now let's jump into YMAG. Again, when I made my prediction, we had 4,650,000 shares, so that was a week ago, and that number went up by about 20% in 1 week. So whereas YMAX only went up by 10%, YMAG has increased by almost 20%. I'm not going to calculate the exact number, but it's about 20%. So that's significant. And so very interesting that NVDY and Tesla combined have collected about, so if we add this together, 51.7% of the total money for this fund. So the rest of the 7 stocks, basically the other 5, have collected about 48%, whereas these 2 guys combined have collected about 52%. So that's very interesting. But anyway, so what did we pay out in May and June? 63.7 cents and 67.73 cents. All right, and so far we're sitting at about 61.13 cents. So that's probably the most we'll pay. And again, most likely we will add a few more outstanding shares. So my estimate is sitting somewhere about 57, 58, maybe 60 cents, but I doubt it. But yeah, between 58 and 59 cents, maybe even a little bit less. And with that, the yield would drop to 32.25%. So that's not looking very good for YMAG. However, it is what it is. You know, they have collected 3.5 million, and a month ago, they collected 2.3 million. But then, like, the number of shares, look at it. This is the actual shares before the payout, 3,425,000. This is basically on the day of payout, and then right now we're sitting at almost 6 million. So that's a huge increase in outstanding shares. So, and the amount of money they have collected is significantly lower. Anyway, as this fund matures, because now all these shares, you know, that have been added, it increases the number of shares that the fund owns. Now, I have not updated these numbers. These are basically from when the announcement of dividends was made for the single stock ETFs, and this is how many shares are collecting the dividend. Because if I change these numbers, then, you know, it's not correct, because it would change the dividend collected amount, and that's not proper. So yeah, so estimate 56 to 59 cents, maybe 60, but probably not. Again, it will be below the previous 2 months, and a significant reduction in yield. That's forward yield, but you know, the fund is doing good otherwise, because it's significantly above its inception price, and it already paid a decent dividend. Now, if we look over here, how much YMAG is up, this is YMAX. YMAX is up about 19% total return since inception, and YMAG is up about almost 25%, as I was gonna say. So this is pretty decent. I don't know why there was this drop right here, honestly. So this is July 10th. Yeah, I mean, the share price kind of went down a little bit, but insignificant. You know, they paid a decent amount of dividends so far. Let's see how much they paid. They have paid almost $3 in dividends, and you're up $1.50 on your price, so like about $4.50 if you bought at the inception. That's a pretty good return, guys. I mean, annualized with dividends reinvested, you're looking at 55% return if you drip, and 50% annual return if you don't drip, if they continue on this path. So this is annualized because it's only like 6 months old. It's not fully calculated, because once we have a full year of data, then we can actually have an annual return numbers. But this is, you know, looking forward annualized numbers. And so last but not least, let's compare these guys to each other. And I mean, we already know that YMAG did better than YMAX, but anyway, let's see how much better. So wow, look at that, significantly better. Again, 15.5% versus 24.5%. So that's a 9% total return more than and by the way, guys, check this out. So SPY in the last year, wow, it's been today at 64, almost 565, and now it's like dropping. I don't know why, 561. But anyway, let's take a look at the full year return on SPY. We have 24.9%. Okay, this is basically major American companies, 25.5%. And let's take a look at now. Okay, this is without dividends, but dividends are SPY are pretty minimal. It's like 1.5, less than 1.5% yield. YMAG has returned the same. Okay, 24.9. No, wow, and YMAG has returned the same amount, 24.6, in less than a year, in 6 months. So it's beating SPY S&P 500 by 50%. Wow, this is amazing. This is a great fund. And even like YMAX, you know, it hasn't been doing as great because of it basically didn't have any price appreciation so far. It's flat on the price. Yeah, right here, if we look at YMAX, open at 20, and right now it's just above 20, 22. But yeah, it still beat the SPY or S&P 500 if you like look forward, because again, this is only 6 months return, is 15%, and over annualized it's like more than 30%. So they're doing good. I like these funds. Unfortunately, this month won't be as great as last month, but still we're collecting money. It's a really good yield, over 30%. It's amazing. It's like insane yield. It's not even high, it's ultra high yield. And in just 19 hours and 9 minutes we will know the exact amount, and by the end of tomorrow we will lock in our dividends. Now, I'm not doing ulti because it's just too much stuff going on with that. I don't want to spend time keeping track of it. It's not a big fund, and I'm not super interested in it. Anyway, so if you want to collect tomorrow's dividends, you need to own the stock tomorrow. Now, if you look at the distribution schedule, let's look at YMAG and YMAX. So the way you get to it, you go to yieldmaxetfs.com, scroll down, and over here on the bottom there is a distribution schedule link. Now, we do have dates in our countdown clock, but it shows you when the declaration is happening, but we don't actually show the ex-dividend and all of that stuff. We can, but I'm not, there's a website for that. So anyway, we'll look at fund of funds, and right here, this is the line you're looking at and interested in right now. So July 16th is the declaration. Ex-date and record date are now basically the same date. So if you buy the stock tomorrow, July 17th, you're not collecting the dividends for July. So you have, not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, on Wednesday. So tomorrow is the last day to buy the stock, and I think during open market. If you buy it after market closes, I don't think you will be collecting dividends. So you gotta buy it during the open or market hours before 4 p.m. Eastern to collect the dividend, and the payment will be made on Thursday, so in just 3 days. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about my estimates. I think they're quite accurate at this point. There is not much that can change, except for how many people buy into the funds on the last day, today basically, and tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day to collect the dividends. Last month we've had a massive increase in outstanding shares on YMAG. So far we already have increased by 20% since these dividends were announced and locked in. So the income for this month is locked in, but then the payouts are not. Anyway, if you are in these two funds, let me know how many shares you have. I'm interested. And by the way, I don't own YMAG. I just don't like the concentration on it. I have YMAX, and to me it's just a better deal. Whereas while they're paying the same amount, I'm not looking to sell my shares, so just like collecting the same amount of dividends on a lower price is more interesting to me. Okay, guys, again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Check out my other videos and come back for more. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.